Welcome to the Awaken the Awesome podcast with your host, Olivier Day. This is Awaken the Awesome, a podcast where we acknowledge that we are all in this together. Through enlightening conversations and personal insights, we like to engage with individuals just like you who show us how they are bringing a little bit of awesomeness along their individual journeys. Our hope is to inspire you to always keep pushing and to stay awesome along the way. Over the past year, I had been putting some effort to, it's just my little thing for me. It's just that over the past year, I've been putting a lot of effort towards fixing my watches. For the longest time, I've got pretty small collection, but also a very significant collection of wristwatches. That really meant a lot to me. But also, call it neglect, call it forgetfulness, call it financial means, call it priorities, whatever you may. It's just the fact that, let's just say that I hadn't made it a priority, but I kept saying that, it matters to me. I would really, really, really like to fix my watch because they were all in need of repair. But fixing them all at the same time was pretty pricey. But this is neither here nor there, is because it really put me in a position of humility and appreciation and pride. When, as poetic as it seemed, just looking at my wristwatches, all displayed in the beautiful display case that my wife and my kids gave me last year, and to take a second and appreciate that with my son, as he was getting curious because it's the first time he saw the display case with all the watches, with all of them working. Because for the longest time, I'd spent a lot of time wearing, because either the bracelet was broken or some of the handles were broken or the batteries were just dead or it was too expensive to fix. They couldn't find the parts for whatever reason. But I took the time to actually properly and respectfully display all my watches in their case, in their appropriate place. And it was a really beautiful sight, and you appreciate that because you have to teach your kids, to appreciate nice things. And that's when we started exchanging, between him and I. He's 4, and he was just asking questions. Daddy, what's this watch? What's this watch? Well, I had to tell him, well, this watch is one I had in high school. It was my first big boy watch. And what's this watch? Oh, this is the one I got from your grandfather, meaning my father-in-law, who wasn't even my father-in-law at the time, because my wife and I at the time were seriously dating. But it was a very, very important thing for me. When someone shows energy your way in consideration and appreciation, you learn to value that. And that's why I've always kept that watch, as it really means a lot to me. And moving on, and my son asked, what's this watch? Well, your grandfather, my father, when I was becoming a married man, and on our wedding day, actually, extended a gift to me and saying, you're a married man now, may this timepiece remind you of this time, in the times to come. Wow. And for a bunch of stories, every single timepiece has a story. And in that box, I saw very significant, vivid, some good, some lesser chapters of my life up to this point. And the fact that I had put in the effort and resources to have them all fixed, it took some time. It took some resourcefulness. It took some patience. But it all applied. And as serendipitous as it sounds, and again, I'm going to use that word poetic as it sounds, it really put me in a position of humility and appreciation and actually made me smile in pride and satisfaction, because this really represented, both in physical and philosophical form, if you will, what I am trying to share along all these conversations and all these wonderful exchanges I share with you guys day in and day out, how the process is something that you need to learn to appreciate it. Because in some circumstances, I probably could have fixed all the watches at the same time. In some circumstances, I probably could not, because at the same time last year, it was all about what is a priority. Is this the best use of our time and money? I just guess I'm going to have to wait, or it's just not a priority to me right now. And these are all the conversations. And replace fixing watches with anything that represents a concern or priority or goal, if you will. Let's use the word goal for you. And it all applies. Patience, resourcefulness, prioritizing, committing, and eventually celebrating the win. Because for me, it was a very big win. It's important to always keep in mind how we need to look into ourselves and appreciate our accomplishments. And I'm really speaking to you in your moments of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and looking down the pipeline of everything that needs to happen in regards to you eventually reaching your goal. Don't let yourself be, winded down or exhausted or weighed down by the uncertainty or dissatisfaction or negative self-talk in regards to this is going to take a lot of work, this is going to take a lot of money, this is going to take a lot of time, I can't possibly make this happen. I know it's on a very small micro scale in regards to fixing watches, but for me, it really represented that. It was like, it took me some time. I've always wanted to fix my watches, but I never made it a priority. I never thought I had enough money. I never thought I would be able to. I never again made it a priority. I never focused on getting my watch. I never went out of my way to go to the jewelry store like, hey, ma'am, if I would need to fix these watches, how much would it cost me? Or just do the basic thing which I have done over the past year. Okay, I can't fix all of them at the same time, but maybe I can fix one. And after I fixed one, let me try and fix another. Oh, okay, this one took 1 week. Okay, this one is going to take 6 weeks because it's these are foreign parts that we need to order. It's going to take a little bit more time. Oh, okay, not a problem. So we'll wait. And lo and behold, they're all fixed. And here I am sharing wonderful stories and memories and looking down the pipeline with my son and asking him, hey, would you like to have these watches when you grow up? Because as my father did before me, because my dad has a very pretty epic collection of watches on his own account. And I know for a fact that at some point, if I have earned it, if I have earned his appreciation and respect, maybe he will extend these watches to me at some point, to me and my brother. But here I am talking to my own son and telling him, hey, these watches are mine right now, but when you grow up, would you like to have these watches? And he was like, yeah, Dad, he's 4. But he looked at me and was like, yeah, Dad, I would. I really would. It's like, okay, not a problem. So just so you know, just help me keep these watches, in good shape. And, don't worry about it. These watches are going to be yours someday. And it's a powerful thing. It's an important thing. And for me, it falls under the umbrella of celebrating a win. Sometimes it's not about the lottery ticket. Sometimes it's not about the promotion or the corner office. Sometimes it's just about sharing a very meaningful moment in time and space with people you care about and understanding what matters to you, what constitutes a priority to you, and what makes you happy. In this moment of time and space, I managed to fix my watches and share this moment with my son. And whatever a small win represents for you, I wish you the same satisfaction and more, the same recognition and more, and the same overflowing joy and more. I celebrate you, I cherish you, and I wish you resilience, strength, empowerment for the time being and the times to come. Stay awesome.